All right, so here we go with the pour of the driveway we set up the other day. We started off in the sun with the sidewalk, and then we're gonna move over to the other side of the garage in the shade. I poured this sidewalk first so that we would have something to jump on pretty much right away once we got done pouring. Um, that sidewalk's gonna take off in the sun. First thing we poured, it's probably about, I think it's about 55, 60 degrees today, or excuse me, the day we poured this. So it wasn't, it was good pour weather. So here we are. I'm pushing the wheelbarrow. Joelle's mucking, and my cousin Mike is rotting. Um, Sidewalk went down pretty fast. Got a bull float on it real quick, and then we moved over to the pad on the side of the garage. This whole job poured out pretty easy. It went pretty smoothly. So here we are, mucking the concrete back into place for this back section. I said it's deep along that edge right there where we're starting to work. It's probably about 8 inches right there. Just getting it all in there. The way this goes, we just kind of, we do concrete in sections. We kind of muck it out first, and that's the first time we're going to kind of lay it down and get it, try to get it flat with those come-alongs is what we call them. That's what my cousin is working with right there. Mud rake, come-along. And then we put those rods on it like Joel has right there. Our rods are a little too long for that area, so he had to go get a short one. And he's rodding right now. Those are, some people call them screeds. We call them rods. He's just rodding the mud back, kind of getting a flat edge on it. And he's just going to kind of walk back with it. Cousin Mike is mucking for him, just trying to keep the mud down, kind of keep it at the level he needs it. And I'm behind Mike, kind of supporting him. He's pulling stuff back, and I'm also pulling things back for him, getting it closer. So each line, of us working is kind of doing the same thing. We're trying to get it down to a flat level. So you rod it like that, and then come back and hit it with the bull float. It's third line, and then after the bull float, you just cut your joints and you get out there by hand and finish it. So it's pretty straightforward process. It's not simple, but it's straightforward. As you can see, Joel's working on that bull float right there, getting ready to get it all laid down on that side. After we get this side laid down, then we go ahead and pretty much just start on the section of driveway. I think this pour was about 8 yards, 8.5 yards. I can't remember exactly. And it took us probably about, I think it took us about 3 hours, 3.5 hours to get down. And, from the start to finish, we did have to cover this up because concrete, it's still getting cold at night here. So we came back and covered it up with some concrete blankets the evening that we poured. Came back in and just covered it up for a couple days. Well, like I said, it was still getting down below freezing, and we didn't want the job to freeze for sure. Here we go, pouring out the big section of the driveway. We have we got the concrete flowing out at a pretty good pace, and same thing. My cousin Mike's behind me mucking, and Joel's up there floating the top edge of the garage in. just like I said, pretty straightforward process. You just get it out the truck. Once you get it out the truck, then you start working on getting it flattened out. As you can see, or if you can see under there, we have I'm standing in front of it right now, but there's a little stake, and it's going to be our stake. It's standing there now. You can kind of see it by my cousin's boot. And that is going to be our guide marker, or excuse me, our height marker for our screed. My cousin Mike is working on it right now. He's just floating. What we do is we take a string line across the driveway and then put the top of that stake at the exact same height as the string line. And that lets us know where we need to screed to. And we'll cut a screed down the middle right there. He kind of circled it and marked it. We'll cut a screed right down the middle there. That's what we're doing now. And that gives us our height down the middle of the driveway. That tells us how high we need the rod. And then we use the 2x4 as the height on the other side. So we have a screed cut in the middle and then the 2x4 on the end. So Joel's working the screed side where we cut the screed in the middle, and that's his height. That's how he knows kind of where what height to pull that rod back at. And I'm using the 2x4 that we set as our form on the other side. So then we just kind of walk it back, just kind of get it about 3 strokes between each step, and we walk back with that rod. Cousin Mike is mucking for us, just kind of putting it all in there. This part of the pour goes pretty quick. Mucking and rodding, getting the concrete off the truck usually doesn't take long. You usually spend a little more time actually just finishing it, because there is a bunch of steps when you finish. Well, not a bunch, but it's a little more time consuming. There Joel goes bull floating. We're getting our expansion joint in at the bottom of the driveway, which the city requires. And my cousin Mike's pouring it out. I'm mucking for him. We do the same process, just rod it. We'll cut a screed in the middle. We left a little hole there just so we didn't get too much concrete. We'll cut our screed in the middle right here. And then after we cut the screed, we will come down a little bit with the rod, and then we turn and just go sideways across. So we, like I said, we're trying not to get too much concrete in there. So this is kind of how we do it. See, Joel right there said, "Hey, let's come back across now. We're close enough to the edge. As soon as that rod can kind of cover the old screed up, then we want to go sideways so we can pull. So we were a little high over there. We wanted to pull that mud back to the hole. And that was pretty much the whole process. This is the finished product. And me and Joel are going around here edging the bottom edge. I think my cousin Mike is he's up on the sidewalk edging. So once we get it poured out, then we come back and edge. And after we edge, we snap some lines that kind of give us our joints. And once we snap the lines, then we'll come back and start cutting joints in the concrete while it's still juicy. I say juicy while it's still wet, a little too wet for us to get out there on. But we cut the lines with our walking joiner, not the old school way of kind of getting out there. Have the rod on that rock going across to that garage so that I can use it kind of as a bridge to get across and start cutting my joints. That's my walk-in joiner there. We've already snapped our lines and they're faint in there, but I can see them. So what I do is I just start catching my 2 joints off the off the garage. I got one going right down the center, and then I have one coming off that corner going down. So here I am pushing those joints in. Unfortunately, I did not put my phone on airplane mode when I recorded this video, and someone called or something happened. Something stopped my recording, so I didn't get all of the finish work. I got a little bit of it, all of us finishing it. But like I said, I got a little bit of the finish work, but this, like I said, I'm pushing my joints in right here. I think we have 2 joints going down this driveway, and then we have a breaking point up top on the other side. So we got 2 joints up top, and then 2 joints horizontally and 2 joints vertically. Right here, I'm just catching that joint off the top, going to that corner. Just pushing that one in. Like I said, it's pretty routine once you kind of get used to concrete. You're kind of doing the same thing over and over, but it's definitely not easy. Not something I would recommend for a homeowner to try to get a couple buddies and lay a driveway down, because it's definitely an art form to it. You can mess some concrete up real quick. Right here, I'm connecting the joint going straight through the middle of the garage. That's the thing with concrete. It doesn't really wait around for you. Like once you put it on the ground, it's perishable, so it's going to start going. And that's why I say it's not something I recommend for homeowners. It's not like painting or trying to tile. Like once it goes, you can't stop it. So here we go. We're going across the driveway on here. Joel's up there starting to finish that top edge. It's a little too wet to get on, so he's just finishing whatever he can from the edges, and that's how we do. Catch our edges, as much as we can, and then we get out there on the knee boards, that board that I was just stepping on. We get out there and just finish it, come down the driveway. So like I said, my phone didn't record the finishing part of us actually getting out there. But this is the finished product. This is the little side area you can park. There's our 2 joints horizontally, 2 joints vertically. It turned out real nice. Like I said, this is a good day to pour. It wasn't too warm. Just kind of got it in and got it done. A couple joints off these building corners there. That turned out real nice. One was real happy. And like I said, I like to cut a joint in front of my stairs there. You can see to stop that stair from cracking. But there you go. That's the project. We're actually doing that house next door this week. So I should be posting that video probably this weekend. That blue house right there in the background. We'll be doing that driveway. Thanks for watching.